In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, investors show strong interest in dividends. Later on, flexible production schedules to accommodate workers' holidays. And in a world news, China and the US to focus on responsibly managing differences.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lilin Lei with the latest updates. Now, on the occasion of the 49th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification April the 30th, leaders of the party, state, and Vietnam Fatherland Front's Central Committee visited Ho Chi Minh's mausoleum in Hanoi on Friday morning to offer flower wreaths and incense. In attendance were Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ, Head of the Central Organizing Committee Trương Thị Mai, Acting State President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân, and President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front's Central Committee, along with several former leaders of the government, state, and National Assembly. The visiting delegation respectfully expressed their profound gratitude towards President Ho Chi Minh and his great contributions to the revolutionary cause of the party and the nation. Also on Friday morning, party and state leaders visited the Monument for Heroic Martyrs on Buxton Street to honor the heroes who sacrificed their lives for the independence and freedom of the nation and the people. The President Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum will be open to the public during the 5-day holiday, including Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, except on Monday, April the 29th. The management board of the site has announced. Opening hours for people to pay tribute will be from 7:15 a.m. to 11 a.m. The 13th Central Committee of the Communist Party of Vietnam, or CPV, convened a meeting at its headquarters in Hanoi on April the 26th to consider the resignation of Vương Đình Huệ, Politburo member of the 13th CPV Central Committee and chair of the 15th National Assembly for the 2021 to 2026 tenure. Recent reports from the CPV Central Committee's Inspection Commission and competent agencies showed that he has violated party's regulations and state law. His violations and shortcomings have sparked negative public opinions and affected the prestige of the party and the state, as well as his own reputation. Fully being aware of his responsibilities before the party, the state, and the people, Huệ submitted his resignation. In pursuance to the current regulations of the party and state and in consideration of Vương Đình Huê's wish, the party's Central Committee accepted Vương Đình Huê's resignation as a Politburo member of the 13th CPV Central Committee, and chair of the 15th National Assembly for the 2021 to 2026 tenure. The Ministry of Industry and Trade held a conference in Hanoi on April the 26th to implement the national sectoral master plans for energy and mineral resources for the period of 2021 to 2030, with a vision towards 2050, which have been approved by the Prime Minister. Accordingly, the National Energy Plan includes the sector of oil and gas, coal, electricity, and renewable energy. It is estimated that over 270,000 hectares of land will be needed for infrastructure development and construction by 2050, with approximately 1.4 million hectares required for offshore areas alone. The total fund for the period up to 2030 is estimated at 4.8 quadrillion Vietnam dong, or $1.8 trillion, with all the funding being supplied by non-public investment capital. The deadline for listed companies to hold a general shareholders meeting is April the 30th. Therefore, investors are eagerly awaiting their dividends. This year marks a change for banks' shareholders, as many banks are distributing cash dividends, an uncommon occurrence in previous years. Additionally, investors are benefiting from a substantial issuance of bonus shares.
Bank shareholders are receiving a windfall of cash dividends ranging from 3% to 15%. Notably, some banks are initiating cash dividend payments for the first time in a decade.
This is the right time to increase the benefits of shareholders, especially after enduring business slowdowns in recent years. This slowdown has also affected the stock markets, resulting in lower valuations.
Investors are additionally drawn to the bank's issuance of bonus shares. The average bonus rate ranges from 10% and 17%, with certain banks offering rates as high as 25%. To gain approval, banks were required to provide clarity regarding the intended use of capital.
Many companies often increase working capital or invest in a new project. Some businesses will invest in another company. Investors will look at the company's intentions.
Banks also offer new shares to current shareholders at preferential prices, with some offering a ratio as high as 100%. This measure aids the banks in meeting risk provision criteria, such as maintaining the capital adequacy ratio, or CAR, at 10%.
This measure provides commercial banks greater flexibility in managing bad debts, while also serving as a foundation for them to request higher credit limits from the state bank.
Capital flows into the economy at reduced interest rates, sourced from investors' dormant funds and facilitated by dividend payments. This dual function renders the stock market an appealing investment choice and a vital channel for capital mobilization.
This year, civil servants and public employees will enjoy 5 consecutive days off to mark Reunification Day and Labor Day. While businesses are not obligated to adhere to the same holiday schedule, numerous manufacturing enterprises have opted for flexible work schedules. This allows workers to spend time with their families while ensuring the smooth operation of the business.
According to Textile and Garment Enterprises, this year's order volume has been notably positive, with the second and third quarter order books nearly filled. Consequently, many enterprises are prioritizing production to meet delivery deadlines.
Due to an unexpected surge in orders this year, our equipment and specialized machinery are fully operational. If we cannot fulfill orders after the rotational shift, we can hire seasonal workers or implement overnight shifts for approximately 1 week to manage the workload and handle inventory.
After enduring a period of stagnation due to insufficient orders, many workers are now delighted by the recovery in business orders. Some have opted to remain at work, while others have only requested 2 days off.
I'm delighted that the company gave me an additional day's salary. With plenty of orders to keep us busy, everyone here is happy and motivated to work.
This year's overtime is better than last year's. Occasionally, when there's an urgent demand for goods, we may need to work extra hours.
In addition to rotational shifts and overtime for each department, some companies also recruit seasonal workers before and after holidays to ensure on-time delivery.
Regarding these 5 days off, employees residing far from the factory will be granted the full 5-day break, while those living nearby who opt to work will be allocated 2 days off. Workers who volunteer for extra shifts will receive full benefits, and over time, 80 to 90% of workers have signed up to work during the holiday.
According to the Ho Chi Minh City Business Association, businesses in the city have devised contingency plans for vacation schedules. These plans accommodate both the state-mandated schedule and the personal preferences of employees. Consequently, whatever decision is made, the approaching holidays will not significantly disrupt production.
By the end of this month, it is expected that rice exports will reach approximately 3 million tons, bringing in more than $2 billion, an increase of over 60% from the same period last year. Strengthening product quality and continuing to tap into potential markets have been helping Vietnam's rice industry have more opportunities to set new export records.
This is a batch of high-quality rice being prepared for export to the Ivory Coast and Ghana. This factory also has the opportunity to sign up various new contracts.
This year, Indonesia's demand for Vietnamese rice soared, reaching over 3.6 million tons. Recently, Vietnam secured a bid for approximately 110,000 tons in Indonesia, significantly boosting our rice prices.
In an effort to maintain a financial stability, rice mills are transitioning from long-term contracts to shorter ones, spanning 2 to 3 months. Rice businesses attribute this to the combined effects of El Nino and India's export suspension, which have led to global decrease in rice supply. This situation provides Vietnam with opportunities to increase the value and volume of its rice exports.
Rice prices are poised to be significantly affected by weather conditions and developments among Indian producers. Based on the gathered data, it appears that export rice prices will remain favorable at least through the second quarter of 2024.
In fact, Vietnamese rice prices stand 5 to 10% higher than Thai and Indian varieties, averaging over $650 per ton in the second quarter. By focusing on processing fragrant rice varieties and tapping into niche markets, Vietnam's rice industry is poised for sustained growth and advancement.
Coming up next on VTV News. Kon Tum copes with severe water shortage. And later on, programs aired to mark the 70th anniversary of Điện Biên Phủ victory. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now move on to other important updates. Some 10 hectares of forest in the Tây Côn Lĩnh mountain range in Hà Giang province was destroyed by a fire that broke out at 2 a.m. on April the 26th. Hà Giang's Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, together with the People's Committee of Vị Xuyên District and relevant forces of Hà Giang province, have mobilized the police, military, self-defense forces, and local people to create fire breaks to encircle the burning area. As of noon on April the 26th, the fire breaks were essentially complete, and Hà Giang's functional departments are continuing to mobilize forces to extinguish the fire, using fly cams to provide real-time updates on the fire. People in the Central Highlands struggle as prolonged heat waves and powerful droughts persist in the region. In particular, hundreds of families in Kon Tum province have had difficulties accessing clean water. Efforts are being made at a local level to address the shortage problems.
Nearly 1,200 families in Trần Hữu Đạo Ward, Kon Tum City, couldn't access clean water for the past decades. All the wells have dried up during the peak of the dry season.
We dug a 30-meter deep well and still couldn't provide enough water for our students and staffs. The two wells at our other branch also had no water. We have received supplies from the local authorities and nearby families.
There are approximately 120 dried up wells in Kon Tum City, which has put locals in a pinch as they search for water.
Families with many children have barely enough water for daily cooking.
The People's Committee have allocated 2 community water tanks. We have also mobilized electricity stations, religious sites and facilities with low water use to transfer the water to community areas.
Heat waves and dry spells have driven a severe water shortage. Turning daily life upside down, for every local, nothing is more important than continued access to clean water and the necessary measures to ensure it.
Ninh Thuận has long pursued a strategy of turning challenges into opportunities, particularly in attracting renewable and clean energy projects. Supported by mechanisms such as Resolution 55 from the Politburo and Resolution 115 from the government, the province has transformed its water-scarce, saline-affected, and unused lands into lucrative energy ventures, generating millions of US dollars in local budget revenue.
The Quán Thể area in Phước Minh Commune, Thuận Nam district, was once marred by abandoned land due to water scarcity and salinity. However, it has been revitalized into energy hubs, hosting solar and wind power projects.
Previously, living here was tough. Whenever it rained, the dirt roads became impassable, covering our vehicles in mud and sand. However, the past 2 years of road construction have transformed our surroundings into something beautiful and clean.
In Ninh Thuận province, 46 renewable energy projects, including solar and wind power, have been put into operation, providing an average commercial electricity output of over 7 billion kilowatt per year.
The implementation of renewable energy projects has a very positive impact on people's lives, especially on project areas. Previously, these areas were agricultural lands characterized by a lack of irrigation, fallow fields, and saline conditions.
The arid, deserted, and saline lands of Ninh Thuận previously had a production value of more than $394 per year per hectare, but now it has skyrocketed to more than $115,000 per year.
Ninh Thuận aims that by 2030, energy and renewable energy will account for 12% of total GRDP products and become the country's renewable energy center.
Recently, the People's Committee of Ninh Thuận Province approved a list of 9 priority energy and renewable energy projects calling for investment. Ninh Thuận Province strives to reach a cumulative capacity of 6,400 megawatts by 2025. This is expected to contribute to ensuring national energy security and create conditions to support and promote the province's socio-economic development.
An exhibition co-hosted by the Ho Chi Minh Museum and the Vietnam Military History Museum opened in Hanoi on April the 26th, showcasing the Điện Biên Phủ victory and the remarkable development of the Vietnam People's Army VPA. Over 300 photos and artifacts are on display, taking visitors on a journey through the VPA's history. The event will be open to the public until October. On Friday, Vietnam Television unveiled a lineup of programs marking the 70th anniversary of the Điện Biên Phủ victory. The state broadcaster has meticulously developed and executed a plan over several months, crafting enthusiastic, comprehensive, and realistic programming that is now seamlessly available across various platforms.
Audiences across the country have been waiting for a grand military parade at Điện Biên Province Stadium on May the 7th to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Điện Biên Phủ victory.
The parade will feature the ceremonial artillery force with 15 cannons, welcoming aircraft and marching parade officers, and background forces, all of which have been mobilized to Điện Biên.
70 years ago, the motto, "Determined to fight, determined to win," fueled the victory at Điện Biên Phủ, driven by the nation's remarkable unity. Today, this stands as a symbol gracing the backdrop of the live broadcast of the Điện Biên Phủ victory commemoration on VTV1 at 8 p.m. on May 5, 2024.
The Determined to Fight, Determined to Win flag is the emblem of the program to mark the Điện Biên Phủ victory.
The documentary Điện Biên Phủ, A View from France, a gift from Vietnam Television to audiences, will be broadcast on the evening of May 7th.
During the interview, a French scholar told us that the lesson of Điện Biên Phủ is that a powerful army cannot defeat a nation, and the film wants to demonstrate this.
A series of programs aiming to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Điện Biên Phủ victory has been deployed.
On the digital platform, audiences can watch it on demand, so the echoes of 17 years of Điện Biên Phủ victory do not stop on May the 7th.
With the efforts of VTV reporters and coordinating units, key programs commemorating the 70th anniversary of the Điện Biên Phủ victory will spread the spirit and strength of a heroic generation that lives forever within Vietnam's history.
The Chang'an Festival 2024, themed Visiting Chang'an Heritage Region 2024, kicked off at the Chang'an Landscape Complex in the northern province of Ningbo on Friday. The festival is an important religious date and a proud representative of traditional culture.
Thousands of tourists gathered before dawn for the highlight of this year's festival. It's a dragon ceremony procession from the Tampuan Gate in Ningbo City to the Chang'an Wharf and along the Shaohe River.
It's amazing. I'm very happy to have been a part of this festival.
I think I'm the luckiest president of the UNESCO General Conference ever to have been able to experience something like this. You know, for me, the real wealth is the treasure of special experiences.
The Vietnamese people living within the Chang'an UNESCO World Heritage Site have always worshipped nature. The Chang'an Festival, held in the historic Hoa Lu capital, venerates mountain deities while advocating for environmental preservation.
The festival is part of a long-standing custom where people respect nature. There have been community rules that protect nature's integrity and legacy, as shown in the way we protect its flora and fauna systems.
This year's festival celebrates the 10th anniversary of the Chang'an Landscape Complex official recognition as a World Cultural and Natural Heritage Site. Therefore, visitors can find themselves immersed in a plethora of cultural heritage.
Coming up next in our world news. China and the US to focus on responsibly managing differences. And later on, cybersecurity fans compete in the search for ethical hackers. Now moving on to our world news, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, and senior Chinese officials. During these talks, both sides acknowledged the risks of miscalculations and agreed to maintain communication and responsibly manage their differences. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi stressed the principles of mutual respect and beneficial cooperation. The top Chinese diplomat also said the U.S. should not cross the red lines drawn by China, advocating for a sustainable, healthy, and stable China-U.S. relationship. Meanwhile, TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance said on Thursday that it has no plan to sell the social media platform. This marks the first official response since the U.S. adopted a law forcing it to divest its ownership position or face a ban on the app. Previously, TikTok's CEO Shao Chu said the company would fight in the courts to stay online in the U.S. TikTok has been accused of illegal data collection in the U.S., its biggest market, with 170 million users. Both the platform and its parent company denied the accusation. The Bank of Japan, BOJ, kept interest rates around zero on Friday after a two-day policy meeting. The BOJ maintained its short-term interest rate target at 0 to 0.1%. It also signaled its readiness to buy government bonds. In the quarterly outlook report, the board projected core consumer inflation to hit 2.8% in the fiscal year 2024 amid the yen's decline. BOJ Governor Kazuo Ueda said the central bank would raise interest rates if fresh data backed up its latest price forecasts or inflation overshoots the projections. However, he underscored the bank's focus on keeping borrowing costs low. The yen fell to a 34-year low of 156 to the dollar after the announcement. The term hacker is often associated with cyber criminals who breach websites and plunder personal data or financial details. In contrast, there are white hat hackers or ethical hackers, a profession that remains relatively obscure to many. A competition was held in France to promote cybersecurity capabilities with some of the best local talents.
In Lille, France, roughly 200 students and cybersecurity enthusiasts are engrossed in their tasks. They're stress testing computer networks and simulating virtual breaches, exercises akin to the daily grind of an ethical hacker. At the 4th European Cyber Cup competition, participants tackle 7 challenges and learn the intricacies of cyber investigations.
For example, in forensic testing, they will have to launch a digital investigation, examine the scene, and access and analyze logs and memory documents to find out what happened online after an attack.
For Miriam Aurau and her fellow candidates, the competition is more than just a chance to showcase skills. It's an opportunity to enhance cybersecurity prowess.
This is truly a great event, an opportunity to compete with the strongest teams in Europe.
€5,000 prize isn't the sole driving force. The event serves as a talent pool for cybersecurity firms scouting for fresh expertise.
Many people want to work for the French government. Others want to work for private companies that handle core industry parts, such as data protection, website protection, and hosting. There are many job opportunities.
Nearly 1/3 of European businesses grapple with a shortage of qualified cybersecurity professionals. In France alone, an estimated 15,000 cybersecurity positions remain vacant, underscoring the pressing need for skilled defenders of the digital realm.
And now let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.